live and benched because of our impertinence. It's the Vocal Minority Podcast.
Wait, now I gotta go look at what the fuck impertinence means.
You know, you had time to look that up, and you should already know.
I'm going to storm off the pitch while Mark looks for that.
Oh.
Raise your voice.
Well, that would be impertinent, as I just learned.
Oh.
Huh.
Gonna be that way about it, are you? I see.
Yeah, well, dictionary.com is my friend.
It's just saying it's your friend. Just
It's
wants you for your clicks.
And it,
Thesaurus.com says it's your chum, though.
Or I thought it said it was your pal.
Could be.
Mate. China.
Oh,
All
lovely.
sorts of options out there.
Amigo. Bosom companion.
Oh.
Bosom companion.
Yes.
Mm.
I could go for that kind of companionship. Am I right? Am I right?
Mark,
No.
Mark, I'll keep you a boob of the whole thing.
Nipples.
Norks.
All right. Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vocal Minority Podcast, the podcast that loves a surprise league announcement. Oh my. On this week's episode, we talk about Canada's last match of the World Cup. Oh, until the summer. Review the round of 16. Talk some player moves. Speculate on a new coach. Get hyped by Cincy and DMath and more. And now to this week's panel. Enjoying his footie vacay, it's Duncan Fletcher.
DMath. That just sounds like dirty.
Does it?
Mm.
That wasn't the intention.
That professor loves the D math.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, what have I done? No.
If this D is sort of 3 inches flush and 6 inches erect, this other D at 4 inches flushes, how big will it be when erect?
If one D leaves Pittsburgh at 100 miles an hour.
Guys, this is called physics. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh
Mm.
That's all D-math is physics.
Yeah.
no. All right,
Will it
moving
fit
on.
within this hole? Will it fit within this hole?
Ooh.
It's called circumference, Duncan.
Good point. Yes.
I hope Hamilton has a team and
I am
they play in the
so
Eastern
sorry.
Circumference.
Good gods.
Sorry, go on, Kristin. We have a show.
Yeah, apparently we do. I don't know what it's about anymore, but anyway, both of his countries are out, but he's still in. Welcome to Mark Hinkley.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's so sad to see my beloved Uruguay. I did pull a muscle. Thank you. Yeah, it was sad, but to see them go, of course, Canada, and then there was that time I did South Korea. That was a good gag. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm very sad for Luis Suarez. He didn't deserve that.
no.
Yeah, everybody seemed very sad. There was a lot of sadness on the
Yes.
Twitters. Yes, commiseration and virtual hugs were like it was really quite heartwarming to see how sad and upset everybody was for him. Yeah, it's what the World Cup is all about, really.
Yeah, and all the articles so sad to have to say goodbye to a legendary gentleman of the game. Mm.
Indeed. Loving watching Richarlison. Say hello to Tony Welsh.
Well, I mean,
He's been delightful.
he has been. I don't love watching Brazil in general.
That's why I specifically mentioned him.
His a couple of that last game with the little whatever it was, a baker's dozen of headers followed by a step over and a give and go. Yeah, it wasn't.
The performing seal routine.
It's
That's pretty good.
delightful.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, I guess. If you're into that kind of thing, I'm more into horse racing nowadays.
Try doing that on a cold Tuesday night in Burnley, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
true.
That ball go right through your skull.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. As for me, I'm sad about Spain, but honestly, I'm kind of pumped for Morocco. So
Dawn?
Yes. I'm your host, Kristin Knowles, and out of the show. All right, as usual, our little look back at what's been happening, and we are going to talk about Canada. And they crashed out after the second match, but the third match, we had some hope for some redemption of some sort. I don't know, redemption in that match, you guys?
Of its sort. I mean, Morocco, they like to let the other team have possession and come at them, and it's not like, oh my god, they're getting dominated, is it? No, they know what they're doing. So then, especially if you just gift them a goal right at the start, and that just allows them to play that game. So Canada looked quite good in the second half, especially. But I feel like there's very much Morocco was in control of that match, but still scored a goal, which is nice. Nearly scored another.
Mm-hmm.
Did some good things.
Oh, that was so close.
It's nice to see that Mac Anthony Kay actually is allowed to play at the World Cup.
Right.
That's nice. Who would have thunk it? That might have been useful earlier. But yeah. All in all, it is what it is.
Yeah,
It is what it is indeed. I mean, two teams from our group are in the quarterfinals.
Yes.
I mean,
And the other team is ranked second in the world.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I mean, that says a lot about FIFA rankings, and also to FIFA rankings, how they're updated before the pots are chosen for a World Cup. Now, I'm not saying that Canada performed that way only because they had quite a tough group. There's questions.
There's some tactical questions for sure.
Yeah, there's some questions, and there's now's not the time to shit on Canada at the World Cup or anything like that. But you watch other teams of their
level,
like in Australia or something, and pulling off a couple of wins. And I know people say, "Oh, look who they played," but they played a couple of good teams too. And you kind of, and you look at the level of players on a roster like theirs, and you wonder. I mean, but again, we're not really quite at the point of the great look back on what could have been, should have been, but there's questions.
I think in that match, that first goal obviously was just so upsetting, because I don't mind conceding goals. It's going to happen. You expect it, but goals like that they're just really hard to sort of endure and watch. And you keep thinking that, and every club, every side, every national team, whenever you watch the game, someone does that. It happens. But to see it happen in your last match, and to have that be the first goal, and that's just kind of, the memory, the sticking point. And it's very hard. That immediately sets a tone for the rest of your team as well, right? This is what you have to come back from. You've got to shake off not just a goal, but a stupid goal. And that's harder. But I think in even given to your point, Duncan, about how Morocco play, and God damn it, they're very good. It's very annoying.
They were the weak team in our group, remember?
I do remember. Remember.
Oh yeah, easy 3 points, right?
Easy 3 points. Yeah, totally. God damn it. We're all idiots.
No, you know what? No, that's not fair, because
we were made to be. We were made to believe this.
No, I don't even think it was we were made to believe in it. I just figure, if you're looking at this just strictly from a ranking point of view, you're looking at Morocco's the third highest rank in this thing. Also, too, if you consider, historically, Morocco's usually just fodder, and that's no disrespect to them, truly, because you still made the World Cup. You've made multiple World Cups. That's fine. But we're also riding high. There's a couple things at play. We dominated the fuck out of CONCACAF, which is its own joke.
Still. But still such an accomplishment. I'm sorry, that's a huge deal.
But I think the thing that now the world has finally fucking woken up to is that Morocco ain't a joke. And I know Canada lost to them, and so be it. But like, they looked good. They looked really good. Morocco. That's not. It's not that Canada were just poor. First goal notwithstanding, but Morocco did look very good, and they held their own against a fairly relentless Spain. So I don't think anybody expected Morocco to be as good as they are or deserving of the ranking that they have. I'm completely guilty of that. When I saw 22nd, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Nope. I completely understand exactly why they're 22nd, kind of wondering why they're not higher.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, our football news is filtered very heavily Eurocentric and North American. Like,
of course.
like you have to go digging to find a lot of research on African football, and that's not good, but it's kind of where most of our football media, the general football media is. It's a confederation that's not paid much attention to outside of maybe the African Cup of Nations, and even that it gets a little bit of press here, but not much. You have to go find it, and they were overlooked. But
another friend and I, we were talking about like that exact thing about there's so much good football being played there, and it gets almost no attention. The African Cup of Nations tournament, that gets a bit, but it's still, you still have to hunt it down. And so when the Morocco Spain match was on, we were messaging and like, quite frankly, cheering for Morocco, even though I generally cheer for Spain. But it was like, you know what, fuck that. Let's just go with this. And the hope that with some of the performances, Senegal and Ghana and Morocco in this World Cup, that maybe Fubo or Dazin or whomever starts picking some of their matches up over the year, like
maybe a new streaming platform should be made. There's not enough of those.
No,
apps.
No, I need more segmentation in my streaming offerings.
I need to install another app on my phone so I can cast things to my television and forget that I have it.
I just want to pay for a service that only shows the second half of games. Is that so wrong? Here's a fucking terrible idea. Go ahead, make it.
Also, another rep to get the first half as well, obviously.
Yes.
Oh, Natch.
Yes.
I mean,
obviously.
I think what I'm doing is I'm setting up a market for competition. This is a capitalist wet dream here.
Yeah. The injury time map is where it's at, though. That one's lit. Those assholes are charging far too much. Maybe, but I mean, they get all of the tension and the resolution. All those other ones. You can watch some of the game here, there, some of the game there. You don't really know how it ends. The injury time app. Oh, that's the one. You get everything.
I blew all my money on pre-match warm-up app.
Rookie move, Tony.
I'm regretting it.
You should be.
There's only so many pylons you can watch.
All right. So anyway, that match, there were definitely some nice things, again, regardless of how Morocco prefer to play, but to see Canada again, I think one of the things throughout the World Cup and this match in particular, sort of their last gasp at, a bit of respect outside of the Belgium match, is that they didn't drop their heads. And I appreciate the focus and the intent that did continue. Still, obviously, have questions about substitutions and things like that, stuff we were talking about when we were watching the match, Duncan. But, we've talked about some stand-up performances from some of the players throughout the tournament. Some of those players are going to be rewarded, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, or have already been rewarded, I guess. But do you think, because there was so much with as the qualification through CONCACAF, kept going and rolling, and they kept playing better and better and better, and because we were at the early matches where the stadium still wasn't full, there was still, but by the end, obviously, it was rammed, right? And I've watched the Voyageurs socials grow over the last year and a half. almost 17,000 followers on Twitter now. I still can't get over that. And then we have, all this stuff. So all this interest, media interest, so much attention from everywhere constantly. It's just nonstop. And bandwagon is, it's a massive thing now. Does it completely empty now, or does the momentum from this, in that there were, it wasn't the greatest World Cup. It happens. But it wasn't the worst. They didn't look completely inept, which was nice. But going into the next World Cup, which is being held here in North America, Toronto's going to get some games, 3.5 and change years away. Other things happening, Gold Cup this summer.
The 7-Eleven Gulp Cup.
Exactly. Ooh, think of the trophy that would make.
It's big.
That's bigger than some trophies already. So
yeah, wait till they break away to have a super big gulp.
Hold on.
Oh yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Anyway, do you think that that the team, the men's team anyway, retains some of its support, some of the new people? Do you think we've managed to grab? Has the players done enough? Has the team done enough to continue to have a hold on the soccer fans' imagination and heart?
I think it's like any tournament, and it's probably been the same with the women after their successes. You get that percentage of newcomers who will stick. And you get the big majority who I feel will wait till as far as the men's supporting the men's team will wait until the World Cup is on the doorstep again. And I think without the qualification next time, Canada to get that fire going again for more casuals is probably going to have to try to play some good friendlies, and friendlies don't get a lot of interest anyway. So yeah, I don't know. For the men's program, I think we're probably looking at 3.5 years before most of those people who've never watched a Canada game come back again. You get your small percentage who fell in love with it, and that's good. It happens here, but I think enough what happened in this World Cup to give the deniers the ammunition they need to walk away from it until 4 years from now.
Yes, I'd agree with my esteemed colleague there. There'll be a bit of an uptick amongst the there for every game people. Some random friendly in Winnipeg and whatever. Yeah. There'll be a little bit of an uptick for that, but I don't think a massive one. But I think by the time the World Cup comes around again, people will be ready to go. If this whole Copa America thing happens, where a whole bunch of CONCACAF gets to go and be part of Copa America, and there's actually games that matter against potentially Brazil or Argentina or whoever, that's something that could capture the imagination again. But I think it's still going to be mainly on a sort of big game kind of thing. It's not going to be I don't know, there's going to be a huge increase in the diehards there for every game.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like those who are jumping on this bandwagon, like I feel like the retention that we're all kind of hoping at least hangs on for the random exhibition games that happened 5 years from now, when maybe we're in a slump, or it's just a lull in the calendar. It's like, let's just play Dominican Republic for no reason, and that will draw people out. I hope that's the case, but I mean, I kind of feel like, I know optimistically, I'm hoping that footy is just not just a temporary thing in the mindset of the typical sports fan. I don't know if it actually made any new fans. I feel like there's a lot of people who probably just think, oh, this is embarrassing for Canada, because like they just assume that somehow, oh, we got one player, must mean we're gonna win the World Cup. Like that's how it works. Like I think there's the casual the casual sports fan doesn't fully have a grasp of what soccer, how it actually works, to look past, well, we've got star players, right? Okay, then I'm in. Like, you don't need star players. You really don't. You just have to have a good side. But knowing the difference is hard, because if you look at a team that has no stars, like, is that really the reason why you're not going? Like, Canada could be ranked 30th and have no stars. But none of them play for Barcelona, so why would I care? Like, that's not how this works. And also, there's only like 20 players who get to play for Barcelona, and half of them are Spanish. So what the fuck do you want? So I don't know. If like, legitimately though, if this could convert 5% is a massive number. If this could convert 5% of people to actually go to a pro game of any level, it doesn't, like, MLS be damned, League One, League One BC, League One Ontario, PQSL, PSLOQ. I can never remember the initials. I'm sorry. But like, just see high level amateur, semi-pro football. Just go to a game. If one kid decides, I understand that there's a maritime soccer league, I'm going to go check out the local Dartmouth side play against the PEI team. Like, that's okay. That's good, because it means there's an appetite to see where this comes from, where this starts from. And while these performances are huge, they have to change the mindset to get it to the growth where we want it to be. Unfortunately, it's like they need to make like 5 World Cups in a row. And
I think that's a really good point, Mark. And I think one of the things that I think it was one Tony said, or something said about like Australia's performance, or maybe Mark, it was you, just about teams who are sort of more at Canada's level, who performed better, who had better, regardless of their group. There is something to be said for consistently being there. It had been 36 years. And to have this whirlwind year and to get thrown into your first thing and that sort of thing, I think that's a performance thing. But it's also consistency for the fan base, right? Like, the women have been, obviously still having difficulty at their World Cup, and hopefully this summer will change that. But they've at least consistently, gotten to the Olympics, gotten to big tournaments, been in the World Cup over and over again. So they're always, they don't get to play much other times, but at least they've had, constant tournament appearances and games, and being in the public eye to keep that fan base consistent. Because again, we talk about this all the time, that for years and years and years and years and years, the women always outdrew the men. Except for the occasional big game where it was like, oh, is this the time? No, it's not. So yeah, I think consistency in terms of appearances and things like this. So yeah, when you talk about Copa America, I think the World Cup being here, I think that's going to help, hopefully. But yeah, obviously it's not going to be as frenzied over the next while. But I don't know. I think we'll keep some of the people. A lot of new people started coming out to matches and being surprised. And I think that will say a lot. And whoever sticks around, welcome. Like, it's great. I welcome any and all new fans.
I think the sport has had another jump in interest as in general.
Sure.
I'm not sure. I think it goes to what you say about consistently appearing at big tournaments is going to be the difference again. That's going to take a long time for the men's side. You're talking about the next World Cup, which will be the excuse of, you're hosting, so it'll have to be qualifying for the one after that. And, the other big tournaments, and not just showing up, making a dent, and if you could grab a trophy, a Gold Cup or something, that would be even more so. But yeah, it's a long process, I think. But I mean, the fact that the sport is always growing is probably a good thing for both programs in the very long run.
Mm-hmm. What I looked forward to is the the brain trust of the CSA, kind of like seeing just sort of what sort of demand there was for jerseys and that sort of thing over the last like fucking year or so, essentially, after they sort of run out and what have you, and deciding whether when the new kit eventually comes out, all right, we need to get a big fucking contract with Nike and make millions of these things, and then just not being able to sell barely any of them because it was the big event and everything.
But the Gold Cup, Duncan. No, well, you know what they do? They have two opportunities in this coming year because there is the Gold Cup, but there's the women at the World Cup. So this is your chance, CSA, to recoup some of the millions of dollars you lost in jersey sales over the last year. This is your chance to get something done, and people will throw down money for this.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm exactly. Yeah, hello. I have no money, and I will throw down money for this. So, all right. Question about, and Tony, you brought this up about Canada's group. Was it really the group of death because, or the hardest group because they're the only group to have two teams advance?
It was a really solid group. Like it was, if it wasn't the best, it was probably the most, like, of had three teams of really, Belgium underperformed by most standards, but I mean, it was a very strong group. I don't know how you quantify group of death in this. There's been so many strange results and upsets, but it was a very, very strong group. And yeah, you couldn't help but be a bit frustrated when, with everything being based on FIFA rankings after Canada stormed through qualification, but then to see its CONCACAF rivals get arguably some easier matches, it's frustrating, but it's FIFA. What are you going to do? It's the way it's based. It's the FIFA rankings have always been farcical. So yeah, not the greatest thing, but as far as a group in whole, yeah, it's a really, really strong group.
I feel like, go ahead, Duncan.
No, I agree. It is a strong group, and yeah, Canada didn't play terribly. They obviously took it to Belgium and did everything but score, and played decently against Morocco. Yes, like I was saying earlier, game states and everything. Yeah, Morocco was pretty comfortable with what was happening on, but they looked okay, and scored a goal which no one else has done, and nearly scored a second goal. And then, they gave Croatia a bit of a scare for like 15, 20 minutes or so.
Yep.
And, 20 minutes through that second game, Canada was in a qualification spot. And then, it all went wrong and adaptations weren't made. But all in all, yeah, I mean, it was a tough group, and Canada played okay within that group. So, difficult to predict how that would have translated to different groups with every else. Had been able to had Qatar as the number one seed in our group, then that may have worked out better. But
I think in light of just looking at the other groups where there was some stinkers, for example, like Group E, like Germany was just not good, and they're in a group with Spain and Japan and Costa Rica. And had Germany been good, that probably could have been a group of death because Japan also looked really good. Also, like Group C, Argentina, Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia. Like Argentina did not look super confident, but they finished first. Mexico didn't do very good, all in all, at least to deserve their ranking and credibility. So, like, basically, I feel like as the chips fell, that I genuinely feel like Canada's group ends up being the group of death, not before, but afterwards. Because, I mean, if Belgium had just woken the fuck up, that would have made a real interesting finish at the end, but they didn't. And they could have taken Croatia out with them, and they didn't. And I really, really wanted that to happen, Duncan. Goddamn, thank you for bringing that to my attention. But like Morocco finishing at top is just, to me, pure. It's hilarious. And I mean, not because it's, oh, look how crap everybody is. Morocco finished first. Like, no, Morocco deserved that. Croatia are a brutally good team. Brutally good. Like, just go away now. Okay.
Yeah. Stop it.
And they didn't. And like, I don't know. I feel like if Canada was in another group, we might have gotten a point. And I mean almost any other group, just any. It's not even a woulda, shoulda, coulda, because like at this point it's just conjecture, speculation, and hope. But like after watching some of those games in Group B, what a baby soft fucking group that was. England, US, Iran, Wales. Show me 4 teams that don't really want to qualify for the next round. Like that aren't playing like they need to get there.
Right.
Everything just looked like, what in the fuck am I watching? You guys know these aren't exhibitions. No fire whatsoever under anybody's ass in that group. Unbelievable. So anyway, that's just Group F. I full disclosure, completely biased, was ultimately the group of death.
As far as just I don't disagree with that, but there's just the talking point of, well, they're the only group that had 2 teams make it to the quarterfinals. Yeah, I mean, that was basically just like 2 really fucking shitty penalty taking teams that they came up against. It was just 2 crap penalty shootouts away from 2 Group E teams and 0 Group F teams. So,
well, with that, let's talk about the round of 16 then. That's excellent segue. Duncan.
Sure.
Good job.
Let's move on.
So, round 16 is officially over. So it was a very strange day today to not have World Cup to watch. Like, thank goodness for Champions League, because I was very confused at 10 o'clock. I literally didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, what? So round 16 ended yesterday, day before recording. And really, other than Morocco beating Spain, I'm still like, I've never cheered so hard for penalties. During them, I didn't want them to happen. I wanted them to win during the match because I hate penalties. But other than that, are we really surprised by any of the results or just any of the matches? For me, not really, except for maybe the Japan-Croatia match, which was tough.
Well, I mean, it was tough because the plucky underdog was played so well, but I mean the results, no, I mean, other than Morocco, the betting line won pretty much.
True.
I mean, just how much Portugal hammered Switzerland definitely surprised me.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
So.
No.
And England looked surprisingly competent.
True.
But aside from that, Australia gave Argentina a really good go at the end there.
Yeah, that was entertaining. Good. Yeah.
But yeah, generally it's like, okay, yeah, you guys had some fun with some fun results in the earlier rounds. Yeah, it's the bigger teams that are winning now.
Now it's time to pay attention to business and just off you go, little teams. Yeah.
I mean,
some entertainment to be had though.
I'm shocked at the US Dutch game, honestly. I'm almost not offended, but disappointed that the Dutch conceded a single goal. I mean, fuck. No, there's nothing surprising about these results, even regardless of how the games actually played out. Like with the exception of Morocco, I'm pretty sure I could have picked the other 7. So now it gets tough going forward. So because there's some teams that aren't super convincing when they should be, and there's some teams that you don't expect to be convincing and they kind of are. So it's starting to unfold. The big teams are winning. So
pretty much as predicted. Now I will say that Morocco, Spain notwithstanding, although delightful, go Morocco. Some of the underdogs, I thought, like the England Senegal match, until the goals started happening, and even after goals were scored, Senegal was so much fun to watch. And you keep thinking about the fact that they were missing like 2 or 3 of their best players, right? And sort of what could have been for them. And I really enjoyed watching them play. But also the France-Poland match. The hell was that, Poland? It was just bad. It was just a bad match. Like, that was not a fun match to watch. I did not enjoy that as much as I like.
That's a surprise. Is France's impending implosion hasn't come to be.
Not yet. Nope.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, if anything, they seem to be looking. They're rounding into better form as the tournament goes on. It seems. And
little drama. Usually there's drama around their camp, and very little.
Yeah. Something usually has imploded by now, and nothing. So I do want, it's just because they're so annoying for the most part. Those fucking dances, Brazil.
Why don't you like fun, Kristin? What have you got against fun?
I like fun. I don't like that they choreographed 10 different dances in case they scored 10 goals.
It's called Joga Bonito, okay?
Okay, I do think it was funny that they got the coach to dance. That was actually kind of funny. But anyway, that's right. I hate fun. I don't like Brazil. I don't like the Fast and the Furious franchise. Okay. I
mean, again, this is why there's so much injury time is looking after goal celebrations. They're just kind of like letting them go and be ridiculously long.
Yep.
And them actually putting the time on at the end. So, okay. Yeah. That'd do it.
The Americans should have done the icky shuffle.
Do they even remember it?
Probably not.
I barely remember it.
Anyway, it's been, but it has been, for the most part, it's been a pretty entertaining World Cup. Like there's been, some fantastic goals scored, some really great performances. A few, we were getting those surprise standout, not in all cases surprise, like the goal from Messi. Like, okay, we should talk about Messi in the Argentina-Australia match, though. What a performance! Like, that was a bit of a turn back the clock performance from him, as far as I'm concerned. And yes, obviously I'm a fan, but I was impressed because he hasn't been that impressive so far. But that match was like, oh, hello, you do. Okay, you still do this. All right, awesome.
Well, FIFA's not going to say no to the possibility of an Argentina-Portugal final.
Oh my God. I was having nightmares about that earlier today.
Good Lord.
Every hockey, basketball, and baseball writer just
wet
screaming over
themselves.
themselves.
Like, seriously, exactly.
To write the same story that they've been dying to, except for a different sport.
Oh my God.
Who's the LeBron James of soccer?
Everyone's going to get tickets back to Qatar. Every single fucking journo is going to no, get on a plane now. Go.
Yeah, I keep seeing a bunch of things in TSN where, if it's just like TSN's B team essentially was wondering, well, we're leaving Qatar now, and the other journalists are doing it. It's still going on, isn't it?
I know. I don't like. I get maybe the budgets. It seemed weird that suddenly.
So St. Ricketts says he was done. I was like,
yeah.
Right,
He and Becky are done. I don't know who else on that team are done, but they're both done. Yep.
Well, I guess they need less rotation, but yeah, you'd think they'd hang around, let them hang around.
Exactly. Like, come on.
No World Cup for you.
And other than the fact, also, both of them have been excellent.
Yeah, they've been great.
What a delight. I so happy, so pleased. Get them on more panels, get them involved in more things. Like, Toss has got a little more free time now. Becky still has, she's still playing and stuff, but when she's taking time off or when she's got time, get her back at a desk, because delightful. Both of them. Wonderful. Yeah, I love it.
Real good.
All right, let's move on. So we got some things to talk about. And we did mention, players getting noticed at the World Cup, Canadian players getting noticed and getting rewarded. And what I meant by that is moves to bigger teams. And the two that have, confirmed moves so far, Alistair Johnston and Ismail Kone. Both of them. This is a big deal. And Ismail Kone, rightfully so, everyone's really, really talking about this a lot because this is a meteoric rise over not even the course of a year for him.
Yeah.
But Alistair Johnston, like that's nothing to sneeze at either. Like,
it's a great move. Too bad we can't really watch it easily here, but yeah.
This is like a 3-year journey for him kind of thing, right? Like this is not, he's been slogging away. He's gone from, the lower depths pretty quickly up to, this is kind of cool. He's off to Celtic now. This is great.
I mean, he was in League One Ontario, wasn't he?
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then MLS, and then, impressed, again, because we've been talking about him. I've been talking about him for a while, but because he was such a standout. And then to step into the national team and just do the work and be consistently quite good throughout qualifying during the World Cup. This is fabulous.
Montreal. They're the Ajax of North America.
I know. Yeah.
And talking of Alistair Johnston, down to go back to the World Cup here, and that header against Morocco.
I know.
Everyone constantly just focusing on Atiba's header came so close, it bounced down and almost went over the line. No. So pretty much nobody was ever following up with, and then Alistair Johnston managed to head the ball over the bar from a yard out. And, was he pushed? Should that be in a penalty? I would say, yes, he was pushed. It's probably one of those things you'd be absolutely outraged about if he got given against you, but yes. But yeah, I feel like that's as if it's just completely disappeared and didn't happen. Just nobody.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
Talks about that. It's weird.
It is a bit weird.
It's what was this Canada's big what if moment? Yes, sure, Atiba shot hitting the bar and almost going over the line, but then all right, we had a follow up from a yard out, and dude managed to put it over the bar.
Yeah, I feel like people talked about it for about half an hour and then let it go. And I don't know if everyone was just like, well, and the Atiba thing sticks more because of the mythos around Atiba, and sort of what a story, what a national team career-ending thing probably that would be for him, that sort of thing, whereas Alistair Johnston has years ahead of him at club and country level, right? So I wonder if that's part of it. But you're right. I did. Yeah, there was a bit of chatter about it, and then nothing. But yeah, he played up in Vaughan SC. So that's super exciting for Alistair Johnston, and that one, that rumor, that came about very quickly, and then the Ismail Kone, Watford,
that one came out of nowhere, really.
It really did. It was like, what? Sorry, who? Where?
It's a great move for him. If you look at the kind of young players they've developed, who've moved on, in the last decade, they've got a good track record. Not a good record as a club necessarily. They're up and down, but Richarlison and Ismail Sarr and some good players who've learned their English craft there and gone to bigger and better.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, Watford supporters.
Yeah, but this is a
Elton John is coming to hunt you down right now, Tony.
I can hear sequins in the distance.
Yes.
I'll outrun him. He wears platforms.
And then, but the other thing with this, like the move to Watford is just very exciting. Like, I'm thrilled for him. He's 20 years old. But then there's this supplemental thing that people are talking about, that it might not just be a move to Watford.
Mm-hmm.
There could also be a move to Udinese in the summer. Both clubs are owned by the same family. So there's some, I guess, reciprocity between the two. But there's talk that, he's going to hopefully help Watford do some good things and then move on over, sort of thing, which is fascinating.
I mean, neither's a bad destination for his level, really.
Oh,
I mean,
exactly.
Udinese seems maybe like it would almost be
better.
too high at the moment. But
I think maybe they see how he settles in at Watford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
two very different styles of play to learn too, like the English Championship versus Serie A. It's like,
oh yeah,
you're learning two very, very different styles of or pace and physicality. It's either way, it will be good for him as a professional.
Just exciting. Like, again, congratulations to both of them. Now, the other player that's had a ton of rumor, where's he going to land next, is Tajon Buchanan, who had, again, such a good World Cup, one of the standout players, and is just generally delightful, and lots of talk about where he might land, see him moving on from Club Brugge. So we'll see what happens there. Nothing is actually, no concrete rumors, but lots of rumors of many clubs that are interested in his services. So we'll see what happens there. But it's exciting stuff. It's very exciting.
And despite not having a good World Cup, Jonathan David's name is still popping up.
Yep. Mostly
with Premier League teams. So interesting there as well. Although I think January move would probably be unlikely.
He's still he didn't have a great World Cup, but
he's still doing well in France.
He's still doing well, and exactly.
That's why I don't think a January move is probably likely, because I don't know unless Lille has something planned. But
it's hard to say with them. We keep doing strange things. Let's sell half of our players. All right, why not? Anyway, congratulations to them. Very exciting. One other quick player move, just to mention, in TFC land. Yes, we do occasionally still talk about them. Achara is off to Houston, which I did not see coming. Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Good luck.
They love Funyuns in Texas.
Hopefully you get to play, which I think would be the most important thing. Is he had, he did. It's not that he didn't play this last season in Toronto. It's just, it never sort of really, it was one of those players where it never really seemed to gel. And so, Houston seems very excited to have him. So
it's a funny player. He seemed old when he arrived.
I know. And he's not that old. He's 23,
he's 25.
Oh, okay, he's 25.
But he always from the day he showed up, it was like he seemed like some grizzled veteran.
Yeah. It's just he's a tough one. I never really got a good sense of his really of his playing style. But then again, not like last year, but the year before, injury and hit and miss playing time, and even this year wasn't consistently given playing time. So it's really hard to when he's good, I've seen him do some good things, but when he's lost, he just he's lost. So
he was at Georgetown Hoya.
Ooh.
Oh, was he?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's unfortunate. Hate the Hoyas.
What's wrong with Georgetown Hoyas?
Yeah, don't like dogs.
That's exactly it. I
heard you don't like dogs.
Look, I have many good and valid reasons for not liking the Hoyas. Most of them are probably no longer valid because of the coaches.
What's wrong with Dikembe Mutombo?
Absolutely nothing. He is delight. Anyway, so he signed for the next season with an option for the season after. So really, next year is a prove yourself moment for him in Houston. But hopefully it goes well. So congratulations. And good luck to you. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about the cheesemakers very briefly, or the snowflakes, whatever you'd like to call them. They've lost their coach.
Like at the mall?
Yeah,
I think it was at the mall.
It was, they all got on the metro together. They went to the mall together. Everyone came, and he was just not there.
Has someone made an announcement over the tannoy?
An announcement. Yes, those are very announcements.
Yes.
Anyway, so Wilfred Nancy off to Columbus. And part because Joey Saputo is an idiot from all reports.
But he just found that out?
No, but like, I guess they had some sort of disagreement in the spring or in the summer, and it was never really resolved, regardless of what a tremendous season they had. The fact that Nancy's been with the team for over a decade. But yeah, like Saputo made some comments about his loyalty. I was just like, what? What is wrong with your head, man? You've just lost, 2-3 really good players. Now you've lost your coach that did a tremendous thing with your club. It's just sort of funny to me. So like, it's typical. It makes it easy now. We don't have to like Montreal as much because a lot of the good things are leaving, so it's fine. And now he's off to Columbus, so fuck him. But yeah, he's off to Columbus. I don't know how long his deal is, but yeah, there you go. Congratulations, Wilfred Nancy, for getting the fuck out of the club you've been with for over a decade. I don't know. It's so interesting. I just, stuff like this is fascinating to me, but I will be curious to see what he does with Columbus. I haven't paid much attention to them lately, but what's their young player contingent like? Because Wilfred Nancy, he likes to coach up young players, right? That's one of the things he's sort of known for.
Yeah, I don't like this at all. I mean, I'm happy for Wilfred Nancy, full disclosure, but I don't like where this is heading from a widely rumored outcome for a new coach.
Yes, I hadn't brought that part up yet.
Yeah.
Should we move on to that part? Does anyone want to talk about Nancy to Columbus first? The fact that it might make them good? I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I stopped
so,
caring about the Trillium Cup about 6 seconds after they announced it. So whatever.
Good. So the real reason for bringing this up, other than I still do find it interesting that Montreal continues to find ways to shoot itself in the foot. This is just
Club
another
foot.
Exactly. Another classic example. But the rumored replacement coach for Montreal is someone that we're all pretty aware of. We've talked about him a lot, and that's Bobby Smirniotis of Mark Hinckley's Hamilton Forge. This is gaining a lot of traction. Apparently, like at one point in time yesterday, it seemed like the announcement was seconds away, the way everyone was talking about it on Twitter. Mark, do you have any insider knowledge for us?
Absolutely none.
Okay.
Not a goddamn thing.
Damn it.
Now the weather.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think it's awesome that if this is true, for Bobby's sake, this is incredible, because this is kind of like the next step in, I don't want to say validation, because that's not fair to his accomplishments already, but like to be able to be the first coach that goes from CanPL to something higher is awesome. It's a good thing they never gave him that Coach of the Year award, though. God, that would have been stupid. That being said, I hate it from a selfish,
of course,
Forge point of view, because he's got a system. The system works. He demonstrates this almost for entire seasons, and now we got to train up some other asshole. I'm sure whoever we get is a delightful, knowledgeable human being who's amazing at what they do. However, devil I don't know scares me. And the devil I know is a fucking legend. So yeah.
I mean, another aspect of that, when you look at what he did when he came to Hamilton, so many people that he already knew and had worked with from Sigma, he brought into the team. Is this going to lead to an influx of now Hamilton players going out to join him up in Montreal? And again, that'd be good for good for them, good for the league. But is
Kyle
this
Becker back in MLS?
is this how Hamilton sort of starts to exit? It's like early MLS, DC United, all-conquering sort of not monopoly, what's the word I'm looking for, dynasty thing. It's going to, okay, yeah, they sort of slowly get down and then end up being a bit of a shit show team. I mean, is this now the start of Hamilton's transition into that? Will be entertaining in a way.
I mean, it's bound to happen. Like, honestly, just, either the talent runs dry, the scouting doesn't work, or people just leave. So I think 4 seasons is a pretty good dynasty amount of time as far as pro sports goes. So, I don't know. Until that press conference happens. Maybe Joey Saputo will screw this one up early too. Who knows? There's also that. So,
well, and Bobby's Bobby's a strong personality, right? Like, Bobby's not a shy guy. So I'm sort of almost salivating over the thought of him telling Joey exactly what he needs for the team, kind of thing. I'm like, I want to be a fly on the wall for that conversation, please. Anyway, it'll be interesting. So we'll see if it happens. Like, it's like almost every season since CAMPL started, people talk about him jumping to MLS.
It's hard to get It's hard to get cheese smell out of that beard.
It's a gamble for Montreal to be your MLS of place, sort of starting point in MLS. It's okay. Enjoy. Worked out for Wilfred Nancy. He's moved on to better things. But how many other of their coaches? I guess Jesse Marsh was their coach, wasn't he? He's done well. So it's there's opportunity there, I guess. Probably doesn't have a lot of time to get it right, but if he does, it could work.
Wasn't Thierry Henry the assistant with Belgium?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's practically a
doing well.
It's practically a breeding ground for world class. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, a launch pad for all sorts of people, apparently. Yeah. Marouane Biello, was he one of Canada's assistants? I feel like he was involved at some point.
Yes, he still is. Okay. Yes, no, he was at the World Cup.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, there we go. This is all right. Never mind.
Bobby's going to be coaching Greece at the 2026 World
26.
Yeah.
Save this podcast. Oh, anyway. All right. And now let's move on to what is honestly is the biggest and most surprising news of the week. And that is the announcement by Kristin Sinclair and Diana Matheson of an impending Canadian Women's Soccer League. And this literally came out of nowhere. There was not a whisper of this until the day of the announcement, when early on in the day was like, oh, wait, is something coming about a women's league? Like, is something, what? They kept this under wraps for 6 months, because that's how long they've intensively been working on this behind the scenes, lining up investors, business plans, sponsors, clubs. But like, this is not the sort of thing that generally stays quiet. So this is the part that really fascinates me. Is it because they are just that good at keeping a lid on everything? Is it that no one cared because it was women's soccer? Like, and I hate saying that, but anyways, so a women's league in 2025, 8 teams to start. They have 2 clubs, so 2 cities that are on as, organizational structure for which they're going to place a club, the Whitecaps. We're going to talk about that, and the Foothills. which doesn't surprise me actually at all, considering Steph Lebe is also, well, she's involved with the Whitecaps. And anyway, Air Canada and what's the other sponsor?
CIBC.
Like two massive sponsors. Like, I'm sorry, CanPL could only dream of those as sponsors. Already lined up. And yeah, mind blown. They have this is not they're not being run by the CanPL. It's got nothing to do with the CanPL. This is independent of that. They are also doing this, this isn't something that the CSA started. They had gone to the CSA, I guess, over a year ago, made a presentation, and were basically sort of told, well, we'll think about it, kind of thing. And they decided that wasn't a good enough answer. And now they're apparently still have a good relationship with them, talking about, expecting sanctioning by the CSA, because they will need that eventually in by 2024. But they intend to announce the rest of the teams or the cities next year. It's all incredibly exciting on the overarching, this is wonderful. We've been asking for this. They've been asking for this for, a decade easily, if not longer, to see and like the response from current and former team members on social media, the excitement. Janine Becky on one of the TSN broadcasts, when they were talking about it, she's thrilled. She's like, I could finish my career in Canada. Like, I could come home and finish my career, she's so thrilled. But anyway, I realized I just talked for like 5 minutes, but I'm very excited about all of this. And gentlemen, initial reactions to this really exciting news.
I'm, for one, am surprised that they didn't get a huge grant and then do like a study that took a decade to publish and then wait another 3 to 5 years to actually do anything about it.
I thought you were going to say you weren't surprised that they stuck their fingers in their ears and went, nah, 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 nah.
No, I think what it is like the amount of money that was sunk into the viability of a men's league, and Diana Matheson, legend on so many fucking levels, literally whipped together a PowerPoint, and 6 months later, boom. And I know it's not that simple. I'm sure she'd done a ton of work beforehand, but like, instead of waiting for somebody else to show the fuck up and make a men's league, like they did a men's league, she just went and made a women's league. And it's oversimplification, I know that, but I would want her to be the president of the CSA anyway, because she's amazing. Excited. Well, to put it lightly, after this was discovered, I'm pleased to announce here on this podcast that I have permission to have a third season's ticket to a soccer team. Now, they better be close by. Like, I'm not buying like Ottawa tickets. Fuck that shit. But I'm looking forward to this. I'm genuinely fucking looking forward to this. And I hope there's a team in Hamilton. I'm not optimistic, but I'm hoping that there's a team in Hamilton. This is amazing.
Yes, agreed. If like everything that's in the plan ends up being, okay, this is how it is, then yeah, that would be fantastic. But right now, it's a very good business plan. It's a fantastic idea. I love that they're aiming to that high, and good plan. And this has been, a really good bit of hype for that plan. But it depends how much exactly is actually nailed down behind the scenes for other things beyond two clubs. Are you still trying to find those people? where exactly is the the money for this going to be coming from? Are the people there that are actually going to be doing it? They were talking about looking for 6,000 to 8,000 seat stadiums. Do those exist? I mean, I guess there's a couple like Hamilton, Victoria would, fit in that sort of size. But, are there like a bunch of that sort of size stadiums like ready to go? I feel like there's still a lot of moving parts to this that kind of have to actually happen for it to be, oh, holy shit, this is amazing. It sounds amazing. It's a good plan. It looks like it's going to be, but I'm not quite sure it is amazing.
Keep in mind,
yet.
It's not launching next year. It's launching in 2 years. Like that's
They got a week.
Like CanPL got up and going in a pretty rapid amount of time with not nearly as much lead time as these guys are giving.
Yeah, I'd say I'm kind of on a wait and see with Duncan to see who's behind all the clubs. This is a tremendously hard country to start any league in because of the size and everything like that. I think the difference between comparing it to CanPL is their goal to be able to match the salaries of what women are getting playing for established European clubs and things like that.
Yeah,
like
that's the exciting part of it.
They are stating outright that it's lower level ones. Like they're not trying to match.
I know, but coming right out and saying that they want to be able to give that, it's a lofty goal. It's a great goal to have. It'll take a lot of deep pockets and a lot of persuading people who have existing contracts, with more established leagues and clubs to take a chance too. So, listen, if they can pull it off, there's not a negative here. It's just, the devil's in the details. It all depends who's, getting all those clubs lined up and the right people and the right facilities and all that stuff. But yeah, hey, if the CanPL can still be here, there's no reason why it can't work.
Yeah, and as well, it's kind of getting public's buy-in as well. I'm sure, the CPL's business plan didn't anticipate York playing in front of probably less than 1,000 people 4 years in, and Edmonton being dead 4 years in. And
2 teams in British Columbia. Before there was a team in Quebec.
I love the plan and just like how ambitious it is and like how high they're aiming. Fucking good for you. But I'm not like, oh, fantastic, this is amazing. It sounds like what they're planning, if it turns out that way, would be, but there's a long way between here and there. But
oh, sure,
this is a good launch, a good chunk bit of advertising and hype and all that. So yeah,
I do think it's funny. Some people who were like, oh, let the men have their moment. They just got out of the World Cup. Why are they announcing it now? And I'm like, because everybody's talking about soccer in Canada. When else do you want them to announce it? The men aren't still playing.
I don't think that there's been a couple of those comments, and I don't think this one lands there because it has nothing to do with the World Cup. It's club level. It's different.
Of course, it doesn't have anything to do with it, Tony. But I'm just saying this is pushback that you see and we hear. I have seen and heard it. So, but I think good, well done to pick now to announce it, because this is when everyone is talking about soccer in Canada, and plus the Women's World Cup is coming up in 8 months. Lots going on. Plus they have the Olympic qualifier in the fall. That's going to be here. That's going to be tremendous. So tons of exciting things happening in that time frame. I think, I definitely want to see what gets firmed up and decided over the next 6 months, and that's basically how they've been talking. That they intend to have that part of it more or less sorted out. I think before the Women's World Cup as best they can. I think I'm not surprised that Dinah Matheson is the driving force behind it. She's been very vocal for a long time. and she, has been very deliberate about her post-soccer path, going to business school, which again, lots of athletes do this, but this, you always sort of knew that this was like the focus for her, was something like, being involved in this or getting something like this going, because again, she's been incredibly vocal, hasn't wavered on that, and has been trying to learn as much as she can. So I'm not surprised by that. Christine Sinclair, like, great to have the GOAT on board and speaking for you and involved in the Project 8 group. And then, Steph Labbe came on board because of her involvement with the Whitecaps. And this is the part that some people struggle with. I've been struggling with. I've been sort of going very back and forth on this. Gotten lots of messages from people. What do you think about this? Is this good? And I don't know. I find it, like, obviously the Whitecaps, the whole Bob Berardi situation, how they very poorly handled it, or didn't handle it at all. They let a known predator stay coaching BC Soccer, the Whitecaps organization. The Leonard Doozies are still there. Their apologies or their statements have fallen short of adequate. And so we all sort of raised eyebrows a bit when Steph Labbe went there to be the director of women's soccer. And now to have them be sort of the flagship club that is involved in the women's league. And there's two sides to it. Well, there's a gazillion sides, but it's whether this absolutely should not be someone that they're involved in because of past happenings, or you take this as an opportunity to fucking use the club, but also to have the club make some sort of meaningful, real contribution to women's soccer as a way to start reparations. And if you've watched any of the interviews, especially with Diana Matheson, because again, she's the chief spokesperson, talking about safe sport, obviously, players involved in the NWSL, everything that's been happening there, and having, representatives from Space Sport, consulting, all sorts of different things, to have frameworks in place before the league even starts, to make sure that the players are safe, to make sure that things are done right from that aspect. And yeah, I don't have a good answer for this for me personally. I'm honestly struggling with it. I'm super excited about this league. I'm very excited that Diana Matheson is the one that's driving it. I think they've got a really good plan, and yeah, if they get everything lined up, it's going to be fantastic. But I struggle with the fact that the Whitecaps are involved, and whether, how long do you give them grief, or do you give them an opportunity to make a change and to have a positive contribution? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, it's like you said, it's one of two ways. It's, you either give this existing football infrastructure that they have in Vancouver the chance to make a very positive contribution and prove to everyone that they've listened and learned and use their existing infrastructure to help create something good, something positive, or they're conspicuous by their absence in a league that, looks like it will be drawing on existing clubs. And then this is not that it's like, who cares about, the impact on the Vancouver Whitecaps, but if they didn't get involved, then it's like, oh, look at the Whitecaps again, not doing their part for helping the women's game. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's an easy answer. They've had a terrible past, but if they are looking, you would think with someone like Labbe, in charge of their women's program, you would have to trust her behind the scenes knowledge that maybe things are in a better place. And perhaps this is their opportunity to, and not to erase the past, but
Of course not.
to make a new path forward using what they've hopefully learned and putting their money where their mouth is, which is a lot of it always comes down to with Canadian soccer, that people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a bit of a healthy dose of rehabilitation. And I mean that altruistically. I mean, at the end of the day, there's still a business, and that wants to be a part of a community, be it, a theoretical one or an actual one. Like theoretical meaning like a women's professional soccer community. Like, I know it exists, but I mean, not in Canada, and specifically not in Vancouver. They want to create something. So if they're going to be on board for the ground floor of this thing, why not? Not to say that they should be absolved of all their past sins, but I feel like enough time has elapsed and enough meaningful movements as far as personnel. Like, I can't imagine Steph Labbe or anybody else, any former women's national team player would take that job and without being absolutely assured that the nightmares of the past will not be repeated. So
that's the hope, right? Yeah.
To me, it's almost like, well, how naive is everybody if that's the case? And that's not a slight, but like, I feel like Vancouver probably has a much shorter rope than every other professional club in probably in North America, definitely in Canada, as far as what will be. Not that any of it's excusable, but like even the slightest
misstep
infraction would decimate their fan base, because who wants to be a part of something like this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a good chunk of rehabilitation, but it's kind of like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame. And I realized that's not meant to be some kind of dismissal of past complaints and how they were ignored. I mean, I'm going to, with the assumption that they've reset as much as they can, and this is what they are going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And if somehow in that reset, they still fall into the same trap, ignore the same voices, and repeat the same outcomes that they did, then fuck them into the ground. Blow the whole thing up. Move the franchise to, I don't give a shit. San Antonio sounds like a nice place. Just quit football. Just quit fucking football entirely. If you can't do this right a second time, you can't do it right ever. So, the one thing I will say that I do like about it is that I feel like it certainly puts a little bit of pressure on our beloved Toronto FC and Montreal to, how about now? You guys want in now?
Women's pizza
now?
shops.
Women don't eat pizza. Don't be silly, Tony.
Bill Manning will never go to a woman's pizza shop.
I believe they're called burrito places. So, but like, just picking another food. Yeah, I because like the way that I kind of look at this is that if MLS teams get in on this, and Foothills, which has its connections to Cavalry, why can't you eventually realistically see 11 women's clubs before you see an independent one?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're all like, if you already have the attachments, like we have an attachment to MLS owners and we have an attachment to CanPL owners. Well, that is literally, well, jokes aside, it's probably about 9 different owners. But it's 11 different markets. Let's call them markets then.
Let's call them cities or regions.
Fuck markets is stupid. But like, I think I genuinely believe that the first 2 names that came out were deliberate beyond just the fact that here's two clubs that have women's backgrounds. Here's two clubs that have a men's program that's professional already in place.
Yep.
So genius fucking move. Just chef's kiss.
Yeah, and to go back to, I mean, just the Whitecaps themselves issue, I mean, yeah, it's complicated, but yeah, I mean, it's not like this, despite the hooray, amazing, this is going to be fantastic plan that's out there. It's not like this is, hey, Vancouver's being given a reward of some guaranteed successful thing that's going to be bringing in money. Fantastic. I mean, they are essentially being tasked with helping to build this thing. So in a way, it could be seen as more of a, a chance to make amends and to be like helping to build something. It's not like, oh, well, you guys have been shit, but hey, now here you get, you guys have a franchise in this successful league, riches await. It's, this is your chance to actually, if you've put out these like half-assed apologies, that sort of thing, and yeah, you want to show some kind of dedication to actually kind of sort of make it better for, sort of women's soccer or whoever, whatever young sort of players are going to be sort of coming up in the lower mainland and looking for a place to play, and you can actually sort of make amends and actually do something positive, then maybe it's the sort of thing you can look back in a few years and think, all right, overall the Whitecaps have been a positive, so that's good. And hopefully it's just like a step along there. So yeah, complicated, but holy shit, you shouldn't be giving these guys things, because you're asking them to help is the stage that it's at right now. So I guess I'm okay with it, but yeah, complicated, feels dirty.
A little bit, yeah. Hopefully the cleansing is a good one. I don't know. Yeah. I think I like all of your points about, especially yours, Duncan, about the fact that they're not buying into some, it's not MLS 20 years later where you just like, here, have some money, take some money, like wee kind of thing, right? Even though MLS apparently just loses money every year, but who knows? Where it's some established thing. They are taking a flyer, and maybe there's some PR on their side of it, as a bit of an image rehab, but
sure,
it is going to be a significant investment anytime things like this always are, right? So I'd be curious to hear from, to see sort of how the women involved. I know that I saw, again, interview with, I think it was with Matheson, who said that she'd been in touch with some of the players from that era to like just let them know what was going on and to get their feedback, which I think is a really smart thing to do and an important step to take. I don't think I've seen any outright announcements from anyone. Like I Kiara McCormick, who of course is the lead person, recently testified, about safe sport and that sort of thing. Very passionate. If you haven't seen her testimony, I suggest you watch it. But I think, she sort of is feeling kind of similar way without speaking for her, of course, but I haven't seen her come out and be like, what the fuck? Are you guys kidding me? So tacit approval, or at least not absolute dismissal. And again, these wounds take a long time to heal. Some can never fully be healed. But we'll see what happens in hopes that this is a positive step for that, from that one specific place and time in that specific club, and that their involvement doesn't overwhelm the league's existence or launch, right? Like, I think I'm assuming, again, I feel like Matheson and whoever else is involved in this Project 8 investment group that is behind the league, I feel like they're smart enough to have considered this. And again, that's, Steph Lebet's involvement, which is also, again, like I said, one of the reasons that the Foothills, I imagine, are involved because of her involvement with them as well. So, but anyway, overall, I think this is a very exciting thing. Oh, I remember someone else, Sophie Schmidt, posted on her Instagram. She's like, so I can't retire for 3 more years, which I thought was funny because Sophie's just like, you know, she's just always around, right? And but also playing some ridiculously good football in NWSL in the last year. So it's possible she can stick it out. She can retire in Canada. It's pretty funny.
Does this mean that we have to keep this podcast going until 2025 as well?
Oh God, no, that's crazy talk. Someone's got a new mic and can make her own podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't get rid of me that easily, or vice. I don't know. Anyway,
no, it's us leaving. You're fine where you are.
Stop it, abandoners. You've been trying to leave me for like half a decade, so how's that work?
Feels much longer than that.
It really does. I know. Probably since like what, the 4th show? No. Anyway, congratulations to everybody involved. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking this on. And everyone else, detractors that did not step up to do this, basically is what I'm saying. Not detractors against the league, just the people who kept saying, oh, no, we really need to do this. We really need to make this happen. We really need to, yeah, totally, we're thinking about it. Yeah, no, we totally believe, we love women's soccer. Look at us. We love the women. Yeah, fuck you all. And thanks, ladies. What's coming up? It's the quarterfinals, baby. That's what's coming up. World Cup to finish off this week's show. And we have a couple tasty matchups here. And I know the one that everyone is looking towards. Well, there's 2. Yeah, sure, Croatia, Brazil, fine, whatever. Argentina, Netherlands, all right, you know. But the Morocco, Portugal, and the England, France matches, like really, that's going to be what everyone makes sure they're home for and has time off for and that sort of thing. So, because yeah, it's just delightful. So quarterfinals are on Friday and Saturday. Croatia, Brazil in the morning, Netherlands, Argentina in the afternoon on Friday, and then Morocco, Portugal in the morning on Saturday, and England, France in the afternoon. So who you got? Tough, right?
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go with Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start off. I'm gonna go with France over England.
Okay.
I'm gonna
now the 2 hard ones.
Yeah. The problem is that I want the Netherlands and Morocco to win, and all signs point to no. So, you know what? This has been a wacky World Cup. I'm all for the wackiness to continue, and if one of them is right, I feel like I'm a genius. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Netherlands and Morocco. What a semifinal this would be! My
Look
God,
at you. I love it. Delightful. Who's next?
I'll just quickly go Argentina, Brazil, England, Portugal.
Wow. Argentina, Brazil, England, and Portugal. England.
Something wacky's got to happen.
Look at you. All right.
Yeah, I'll go with sort of Argentina, Brazil. Should make for a good semi-final. I think they would be playing against each other, wouldn't they? I don't know. And then, yeah, I think Morocco could take Portugal. That's very possible. I don't buy into this. Portugal's a brand new team now, and everything's going to be fantastic and wonderful. That was an enjoyable one game, especially not really enjoyable about Portugal winning, but the Ronaldo not part of it aspect. But yeah, I don't see that them as an unstoppable juggernaut. I could see Morocco frustrating them, and it can go to penalties, and Ronaldo can miss the decisive penalty. That would be my ideal. The other one there, let's say England as well. Fuck it.
Why not?
Why not?
Brazil, even though I'd love to see Croatia advance, but Brazil's just really good right now, unfortunately. Argentina, I am going to pick Morocco because I do think that they are the ideal team actually to stifle Portugal. And I think that there is, I don't think it's an outlier. I think there's a legitimate shot for them to win this match. And France, because they're just playing some really consistent football. I think England's been a little more up and down, and yeah, that is what I say. Exciting stuff, guys. Exciting stuff. Love the World Cup.
Thrilling.
It's been fun.
When's the next games?
Next Tuesday and Wednesday, actually. That's the semis.
I'm looking at Friday, Saturday.
Oh, sorry. I thought
Friday
you were
and
talking about the ones
Saturday. When Friday and Saturday's game happen.
Yeah, I already said that.
The semis are Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes, you said one of the next games. I had already said when. No one listens.
I know.
I have a brand new mic and still no one listens.
No, the next games are Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
The ones after those are Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes.
Either way, I'm still going to try and watch them all. Well, okay, definitely the semis because I know I can. And I hope nobody thinks I'm going to be productive on Friday. So all the best. Thoughts and prayers.
Exactly. Just, out of office reply. Oh, no. Oh, I had so many emails. I didn't see your email. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's our show, you guys. Like, that's it. I have nothing else to talk about unless you have anyone else have anything they want to talk about. No,
I don't. I just want to say thank you, Kristin, for having a new microphone.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
May it serve your future podcasts well.
Stop it.
True.
Oh, you know what? I do want to. Never mind.
No, you already closed the show. It's the gate's closed.
Yep.
No.
Yes. Just anyway. Never mind.
Excellent.
I'll talk about it next week.
Strong ending.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? All right. That. Hope you're all enjoying all the footy that's going on. I hope you are watching the Champions League while the World Cup has a couple of days off, or you should just watch the Champions League. Anyway, some great football there. And let's get excited about all the exciting things that are happening in Canadian soccer because there's so much good stuff. All right. That is our show for this week. Please join us next week as we hopefully, who knows, maybe we have more exciting details about the new Women's League. Maybe Toronto FC will do something. Who knows? Maybe more Canadian men's national team players will move on to brand new shiny teams. And of course, we will have the quarterfinal results, possibly the semifinal results, depending on what day we record. I've been joined by the entire Vocal Minority Podcast panel, to be found out there on the Twitters at Duncan D. Fletcher, Mr. Duncan Fletcher.
Hello.
Out there on the Twitterverse at Malarkey FC, Mr. Tony Walsh.
Nothing else to say.
That's true. Good point. I have reserved comment.
On the tweet machine at KitNerdMark with a K, not a Q, Mr. Mark Hinckley.
Thank you to everybody who continues to contribute to our show's Patreon. We absolutely appreciate it. We still have shirts. You can find those on our Zazzle shop. The link is on our website, vocalminority.ca. And Go Morocco is a phrase I never thought I would ever say out loud more than once, but here I am. So let's keep going.
It's delightful. As for me, you can find me on the internet. Yes, the entire internet at KZ Knowles. I've been your host, Kristin Knowles. Until next week, Canada, get used to it. And yeah, Go Morocco.
Mhm.